Okay, let's get the facts straight. From the very beginning, there has been a sense of excitement that XRP would definitely achieve a huge 10,000. And you know what? That guess just became a lot stronger. Larry Fink from Blackrock is behind this, and that's who we're talking about. Think about this. He's not simply talking about $10,000 for each XRP. Oh no, he says it's a basic need. Hi Moneyside family, welcome back to your main source for all things XRP. Before we get into the main part of today's program, let's quickly check in. Could you do me a small favor? Hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell to join our great community. And here's a small warning. As we get closer to 60,000 subscribers, we're getting ready for an amazing XRP giveaway. It's easy to take part in the giveaway. All you have to do is follow these 3 steps, so make sure you're ready and tuned in. Also, don't forget to leave a hashtag Moneyside in the comments so you can have your chance to win. This is when things become interesting. Think about it. Big names in finance like BlackRock and Vanguard are now seriously thinking about using XRP for their international transactions. And wait, it gets better. There are rumors that BlackRock is going to develop an ETF that focuses on XRP. That's correct, you heard that. But hold on, there's more. Larry Fink didn't stop there. He is looking at the huge $30 trillion real estate market and trying to figure out what will happen to it in the future. You got it. The XRP ledger is poised to turn everything into tokens, and the ISDA, or International Swaps and Traders Association, is going to send a mind-boggling 1.2 quadrillion across the XRP ledger and RippleNet. It's not just $10,000 for each XRP. That's easy for youngsters. We could see the value of XRP go up to $60,000 or more. It's hard to believe, right? Now let's get into the next part. Larry Fink from BlackRock delivered another big news story. He's not only saying things, he's doing things. Ripple and its digital asset XRP are about to do something big, turn everything into tokens. In the next section of our video, we have a clip that will get people talking. Larry Fink himself says that BlackRock is moving toward an XRP ETF. Let's not wait any longer. This is the video you've been waiting for. Added a Bitcoin ETF is an example of how we're making it real, making things safer. You do another ETF? What about an XRP ETF? I know you have Ether in your wallet. What about XRP? Are you able to answer that? I can't. And you don't want me to say anything? I do. I can't do that. Okay, they're giving me the rap. In the last several days, there have been a lot of strange things happening in the crypto realm, especially with XRP. Think about this. XRP's value went up on the world-famous exchange crypto.com, reaching an amazing $43,000. This isn't just a one-time thing. XRP's value has been going up unexpectedly more and more often. Do you remember how we talked about a $7,000 XRP problem at a big exchange last week? Now it's Crypto.com's time, and it looks like XRP's value is going up and down a lot on different exchanges. But let's change the subject. Something I found while doing a lot of research that is just as interesting, but has nothing to do with BlackRock or the XRP market spike as a whole. We're going to talk about Gary Gensler, who is the current chairman of the SEC and took over from Jake Clinton. As most of you already know, Gensler always calls XRP a security. This is when it gets interesting. Gary Gensler has a twin brother named Robert M. Gensler, who is the same age and looks a lot like him. Robert is an important person at T. Rowe Price as its vice president. If you look a little closer, you'll see that T. Rowe Price isn't just any investment firm. It's one of the biggest investors in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and yes, XRP. So there's an interesting link here. Gary Gensler is still the head of the SEC, and he still calls XRP a security, but his twin brother works for an investment business that is a big investor in XRP and other cryptocurrencies. It's an interesting comparison. That makes me wonder about the complicated relationships that exist in the realm of cryptocurrency rules and investments. This leads us to a very interesting idea. Is it possible that Robert Gensler, the vice president of T. Rowe Price, knows more about XRP's potential than anyone else, just like he does about Bitcoin and Ethereum? This theory makes more sense when you think about how much money the company has put into these 3 cryptocurrencies. The SEC publicly denies any idea of insider trading, yet many reports and investigations have said the opposite. These investigations, which look into market manipulation and insider trading, have regularly brought up questionable actions by the SEC. It looks like a pattern is starting to form. It looks like SEC officials are telling their family members which digital assets might soon be free of the label of being securities. After that, these family members put money into the business early, and when the asset is formally labeled non-security, its value goes through the roof. letting these family members and friends make a lot of money by purchasing low and selling high. In this case, let's think about the idea that Robert N. Gensler may have had knowledge from his brother Gary Gensler about the SEC's possible loss in a lawsuit against XRP. This kind of information could mean that Congress might want Ripple Labs and the SEC to settle their differences, making it a great time for smart investors to buy XRP. But seeing T-Row prices rise and more money go into Bitcoin, Ethereum, and especially XRP adds another element to this story. There is a lot of talk in the crypto community about XRP possibly hitting crazy heights, like $10,000 or even $60,000. Analysts who have been optimistic on XRP, like Jack the Rippler, say that its value might climb very quickly, possibly going over $589. This bold prediction shows how much interest and enthusiasm there is around XRP and its potential in the cryptocurrency market. A portion of the profitable XRP pie is being looked at by Wall Street. And what do I think? The first large move will be through an XRP ETF, but let's look into it more than just the surface of this change. Crypto Basic has some interesting news for us. A former Ripple director has seen that an analyst thinks JP Morgan has made a big move into XRP. This news really surprised me, and we need to talk about it more. This is how the narrative goes. Ben Armstrong, who used to work with the BitBoy crypto brand, brought up some disputed assertions concerning JP Morgan's supposed involvement in XRP. This led to a response from a former Ripple director. Armstrong, a well-known person in the crypto world, said this in a series of posts. He said that JP Morgan has bought a lot of XRP coins, about 7.5 million. Armstrong now says that this transaction is worth around 7.5% of JP Morgan's overall value. But wait, because the arithmetic here doesn't add up. To put it in context, the 4.46 million XRP that are worth 7.5 million right now don't even come close to 7.5% of JP Morgan's wealth. Armstrong's math doesn't quite make up, since JP Morgan's total assets are 3.89 trillion as of 2023. Armstrong still thinks that JP Morgan's claimed strategy is important, and he thinks they're discreetly hoarding XRP. He says that this makes JP Morgan a rising star in the world of Bitcoin. We have a story about big Wall Street companies like JP Morgan possibly getting involved in the crypto world, especially with XRP. And even though the math might not be perfect, it's important to think about the fact that big banks are getting into crypto. It shows that traditional finance and digital money are starting to mix, with XRP at the core of several interesting things that are happening. Armstrong's aggressive words have also brought attention to Blackrock, the biggest asset management company. He is heating things up by saying that Blackrock, which just got permission for its iShares Bitcoin ETF, is now looking into XRP for its investment portfolio. Armstrong didn't stop there, though. He's also focusing on the continuing legal battle between Ripple and the US SEC. What he thinks: the fact that these big banks are investing in XRP even though there is a legal battle going on shows that they believe in XRP's bright future. Think about what might happen if this tendency of gathering is real. It would suggest that big-time investors are putting money on XRP even if it is going through a lot of ups and downs with the law. Okay, so here's the deal, people. It was always going to happen that Wall Street will accept crypto. This is something I've been talking about for more than 5 years, and back then it seemed like a fantasy. But look at us today with Bitcoin leading the way. Do you really think XRP won't follow? I would have to disagree, though. It's not a question of if, but when. But Armstrong's painting of a certain situation might not show the complete story. But wait, it gets much more complicated. Matt Hamilton, a former Ripple director, added a lot of doubt to Armstrong's stunning assertions. He didn't believe that such a transaction was real, and he also wondered what effect it would have on XRP given the token's huge supply. After that, Hamilton takes out the calculator. In the context of 100 billion XRP in